There are moments in basketball when time seems to slow, when the court becomes a stage for something that feels impossible to explain. For most players, these moments are rare. For Michael Jordan, they became part of the sport's memory. Not because he made difficult plays look easy, but because he made impossible plays look inevitable. And the deeper you study them, the clearer one truth becomes. Jordan wasn't feared simply for his skill. He was feared because in the biggest moments, he became something that felt beyond human. The NBA had never seen a player who could bend reality the way Jordan did. His most iconic plays came from a place that defied logic, hang time that outlasted physics, decisions formed in fractions of seconds, reactions calibrated in midair. But beneath the beauty of those moments lived something darker, something opponents felt long before fans did. That Jordan's greatest weapon wasn't athleticism, it was inevitability. There's a certain fear that rises in competitors when they face someone whose confidence feels absolute. With Jordan, defenders sensed that fear before the play even began. Coaches prepared for him with schemes and adjustments, but Jordan broke plays not by overpowering them, but by slipping between their intentions. He would drive into a crowded lane, leap into a tangle of bodies, and somehow, miraculously, remain in control of the outcome. To guard him was to confront a truth no defender wanted to accept, that the game belonged to him, even when it didn't make sense. Players spoke about it afterward, about the way Jordan seemed to pause in the air while everyone else descended, about how he adapted mid-flight, shifting the ball, twisting his body, rewriting the play as it unfolded. Those plays were labeled superhuman, but the deeper reality was psychological. Jordan operated with a clarity born of obsession. His mind was as fast as his feet, his instincts sharper than any scouting report could capture. Where others reacted, he anticipated. What made these moments terrifying was not the act itself, but the consistency. A single miracle is forgivable. A pattern of miracles becomes something else entirely. Opponents felt it every time Jordan elevated, an uneasiness, a dread, the awareness that they were witnessing a moment that would outlive the game. Jordan didn't rise simply to score, he rose to impose a memory. Some moments revealed his strength, others his precision, but the ones that defined him were the ones that revealed his intent. Plays where he refused to let gravity dictate terms. Plays where he took contact that should have ended a possession and turned it into a declaration. Plays where he appeared not just determined to win, but determined to break whatever confidence the opponent had left. Those moments became the psychological foundation of the Bulls dynasty. When Jordan did something impossible, it didn't just give Chicago points, it removed points from the opponent's future. Teams unraveled beneath the weight of what he represented. You can plan for speed, you can strategize for strength, but how do you defend against belief? How do you defend against a player who believes he cannot fail? Opponents would describe a growing helplessness, the sense that Jordan's most extraordinary plays weren't flukes, but inevitabilities. And as the pressure mounted in playoff games, the fear deepened. Because Jordan's superhuman moments didn't arrive in meaningless situations, they arrived exactly when his team needed them most, when the clock shrank, when the game tightened, when others hesitated. That was the moment when Jordan seemed to evolve. Great players rise to the occasion. Jordan transformed it. You can trace the terror he inspired in the looks of defenders too late to adjust, in the slumped shoulders of opponents after he delivered another dagger, in the silence of arenas that realized their teams had no answer. Jordan's legacy wasn't built on dominance, it was built on inevitability. The belief that no matter what the game demanded, he would find the solution, and often in ways that defied explanation. The most iconic plays stand out because they reveal the full arc of his identity as a competitor. The acrobatics around the rim, the midair switches, the impossible spins, the last-second reversals of direction, the hang-time adjustments that forced defenders into choices they could not win. These weren't tricks, they were expressions of a mind and body synchronized in ways that athletes rarely achieve. But perhaps the most haunting truth lies not in the moments themselves, but in what they cost him. Jordan's superhuman plays carried a weight few athletes could bear. Each one was an answer to pressure, to expectation, to the psychological burden of carrying a franchise's destiny. Every time he defied gravity, he absorbed something heavy within himself, the obligation to do it again and again and again. His greatness became a cage built from his own brilliance. Yet this is why the NBA feared him, and why even decades later the league still feels his presence. Jordan didn't just break defenses, he broke assumptions. Assumptions about what was possible athletically, what was sustainable mentally, and what one player could demand from an entire sport. When younger generations study his highlights, they see spectacle. When his opponents remember him, they feel the pressure, the dread, the understanding that no lead was safe, no possession final, no moment too big for a player who made the impossible feel routine. Jordan's superhuman plays didn't shock the world because of how they looked. They shocked the world because of what they implied, that one athlete had reached a level of composure, competitiveness, and control that transcended the sport itself. His plays were not celebrations of athleticism, they were manifestations of will. And that is what continues to terrify the NBA today. Not the vertical leap, not the elegance in midair, not even the game winners. It is the realization that greatness at its highest form is not a skill set, it is a mindset. A mindset that tells the world, when the moment rises, I will rise higher. Michael Jordan did not look superhuman because he defied physics. He looked superhuman because he defied doubt.